Hi there, and welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. I have a flip through today of a beautiful commonplace journal, or an all sorts book, as I like to call it, because it has all sorts of stuff in it, that I created recently from a 112-year-old book, which is titled Everybody's Cyclopedia. And this is volume 1 from this encyclopedia series. It was the only one I could find. Who knows what became of all the other volumes, but I got volume 1. And I have refurbished it. I was able to keep the original spine, and I fortified it from the inside out. So although it looks very, very worn and beat up, and you would too if you were 109 years old, there are 2 more layers of fabric now supporting these shoulders, and a layer of paper. And this little book is ready to go on for many, many more years in its new life as a journal. I have also refortified the footer and also the header, and put a little bit of detail with some brads on there. The cover of this journal was originally blank, and I decided that this beautiful painting called Boating in the Month of May by Simon Benning, they don't have an exact date for when it was painted. They only know it was approximately between 1510 and 1560. So a little bit about how I rebuilt it. There are 9 signatures in here, and it has a hidden hollowback spine, which means this book will lay open nicely for you to write in it, and there's plenty of room for writing in it, although I had a little bit of fun here and there with a few little vintage things and some collages. This is mostly a journal that's ready for you to make your own, and you'll see here I put a little bit of lace at the top and at the bottom. There's threads everywhere where I've sewn, and you can trim those off if you're not a thread person. Everything in this journal, except for, hold on, this rusty bulldog clip, everything else has come from repurposed sources, which means that I have found them at antique shops, estate sales, thrift stores, garage sales, you name it. If it's come from a repurposed source, that's where I've got it from. All the papers, all the books that I've cut up. I don't use digital prints. And if you see scrapbook paper in here, it's because I found it at a thrift store, or else it was gifted to me by someone. So let's take a look inside. I really love the end papers that I chose for this book. I think they're perfect. They've got a little sparkle of gold in them. They have a little bit of a medieval feel to them, if you ask me. And so that's why I thought this lady would just look lovely there. This opening page is what's called a Dutch door. It only comes halfway, and then she sort of peeks out over the edge. Here's the original first page of the book. You're going to find many of the original pages in this book, and many of the original illustrations. In addition to that, I will be including a few of the original pages to go with it. So if you want to continue making some journaling tags or whatever it is you wish to do with these papers, they'll come along with the book. On the other side of this first page, you'll see that there is the copyright date, 1912, which means this book is 109 years old. It's an old book. I've covered many of the signatures ends with a beautiful goldenrod colored lace, and I just think it looks so beautiful. You're going to see a variety of sizes of papers and pages. This paper actually has grass and leaves right into the fibers. Here's a tag that I created, a journaling tag. You can write on the back if you wish. This is from an original page in the book on apartment houses. And then I added a little Jessie Wilcox Smith and a little word snippet at the bottom. Here's a little tuck spot that I used some leftovers from the end papers. And I also created a really large journaling card from one of the pages of the book, and I did a little bit of collaging. And I put a thistle on there and a lavender bow. And Mary Queen of Scots is peeking at us from behind this lace doily here. An original page from the original text block. This page is from the children's picture book classic Corduroy, which is one of my favorites. And I offset it so that I could make the best use of the illustrations. Here I've sewn onto the edge a tea-dyed Rolodex card. Any papers in here that are tea-dyed, I have done them myself, except for one sheet that was done by my friend over at Wishes and Weeds. This is actually a page out of my old bullet journal. Another little tuck spot here, and I made a tag out of one of the pages of the book, and that's Esther Williams there saying, "I don't care." Looking lovely. And again, I made use of some of the offcuts from the end papers. This is a page out of an old Dick and Jane type book from the late 40s. This is an original illustration from the text block that I was able to save, as is this. Lots of room throughout for journaling. A little rusty paper clip with some tea-dyed paper just tucked in there. Some more tea-dyed paper that was an off size, so I did a little bit of collaging with a playing card and a ticket and some washi, and then I added some tissue over the top, distressed it a bit, so you can even journal on the back of that. Another page from the original text block. This is from a vintage children's composition book. This is from a French grammar book from the 60s. Ledger paper. Another tag that I created from a page out of the original text block, sewn around the edge. And then here is the Rusty Bulldog clip. It's new, but I rusted it to look old. Music. This is a page from Charlotte's Web. It's the actual page out of the actual book. I don't use prints. This is from the original text block as well, showing standard breeds of cattle. I thought it was very colorful. This is an original card from a tarot deck for the Empress, and she stands for giving birth, not just giving birth to a human, but giving birth to work, giving birth to a new era in your life, giving birth to art, to creating. She's a really great card. And in the back, I made her into a little tuck spot, and there's a card from a florist tucked in there, but you can put whatever you like in there. Another little tuck spot from an offcut from the end papers. This is Lord Burleigh, looking very handsome there. And then again, another very large journaling tag that I collaged on. This is also from the original text block. And I just added some vintage wrapping paper and a paint swatch and a little tiny playing card. It was fun. This is from the children's book Blueberries for Sal, and it is also the actual page from the actual book. I find these books at my thrift stores, and they've usually been colored in and torn and very much loved by the previous owner, and then they still have some life left in them, and they go into my journals. Here's a page out of a John Walsh Anglin book. It was about mothers. Another original page from the book. This is a page that was all about trees, from a book that was all about trees. Again, from the original book. I love the illustrations that were in this book. It's from a birding book, a Peterson's book. And then there's another little tuck spot here and a journaling card from one of the original pages. And again, this is an all sorts book, and the rule for an all sorts book is it has to be whatever I like. So there's really no rhyme or reason, there's really no theme, but I love that parrot, and I think he looks very handsome there, or she. Another just piece of tea-dyed paper held on with a rusty paper clip. Lots and lots of journaling space. There is 216 pages in this book, I should say. It's also 5 1/4 inches wide, 7 3/4 inches long, and it's 1 3/4 inches thick. Here's another little tuck spot with a lovely 60s housewife, and she's saying, nope, none whatever. And again, another little journaling card that I've created from one of the pages of the book that's ready for you to write on. This is from the original text block as well. This is a page out of a guest book that I have tea-dyed. These are so much fun to work with, and I left it blank so that you could enjoy it. From a vintage flower book. A little tag that's actually sewn into the signature. I'd been saving this picture for a little while, and I put it in using vintage photo corners, and I liked it because it also had an old stone bridge going over the river, and it reminded me of that old stone bridge going over a river. And I figured B is for bridge. Here's the end of the book, and again, these beautiful, sparkly gold and blue and white end papers. I created another tuck spot that goes the full length of the page. I hand sewed in some gold embroidery floss, and tucked in there I have put another tag that I created from a page out of the book, and as well as ever with a Sunnyside journal, a Two Nanas bookmark always goes inside. So thank you for joining me on this flip through. I hope you enjoyed it. This book will be available later today in my Etsy shop. The link is below. If you're interested in it, I hope you'll go over and take a look. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.